بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Greetings of peace be upon all of you from Khalil Center and from the Executive Director Human Keshavarzi. I wanted to really take an opportunity to use this tragedy and difficulty that we are currently facing amidst the COVID-19 to really try to reflect on it. We as human beings are meaning-making creatures by our very design. So we need to try to interpret, make sense, and make meaning of the things that are going on in our lives. And the way that we make that meaning, whether we take a lesson, an ibrah, a lesson, and think of it in a very useful way, it will lead to adaptive and healthy behaviors. It will also lead us to more adaptive and healthy feelings and experiences as well. In the converse, if we interpret it in a way that is not healthy for us or in a pathological way, then what will result is that we'll end up having pathological behaviors and pathological feelings as well. So as meaning-making creatures, we want to answer this question. Why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inflict humanity with such a difficulty? And in particular, why the believers, why the Muslims? As Muslims, how do we understand this? Why is it that the Muslims are facing this difficulty? Some of the Muslims are actually sick. Some of them may not be sick, but their family members are sick. Or if neither of those are there, then we've all definitely been negatively and adversely impacted by this. Whether it's a loss of job, whether it's being confined to home, whether it's an interruption in our schooling, and so on and so forth. And so we want to try to answer this question. What is this? And why? How can we make sense of this? And how can we make this a meaningful experience for us and take a lesson away from it? Well, one of the questions that many people are asking and thinking about during this time and conversing about is this a punishment or is this a mercy? And I really want to tackle this question briefly in this short video. And my short answer to it is that it's both. And as most psychologists say to most things, is it depends, right? So let me try to unpackage what I mean by that. First of all, let us understand a Quranic notion. Right? In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَا أَصَابَكُم مِّن مُّصِيبَةٍ فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَيَعْفُ عَنْ كَثِيرٍ. That nothing afflicts you, or no difficulty or trials or tribulations come to you, except that you have what? Caused it with your own very hands. You have been a means or a cause for it. In another ayah, ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعد الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون. That corruption and fasad and evil or transgression has become widespread in the earth and in the sea due to what? Due to what the بما كسبت أيدي الناس, due to our own doings, the doings of our own very hands. لِيُذِيقَهُمْ. So, and Allah makes us so that we can taste and experience some of what we have done ourselves, to sow the seeds or to taste the fruit of our own very planting efforts, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, you caused it. So then, the question for us is, well then, this must be a punishment, and that we have done this to our own very selves, and that this is perhaps cause for more panic, right? But the consolation we find, the other side of that is that وَيَعْفُ عَنْ كَثِيرٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the ayah I mentioned previously, and then afterwards, لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ, so that they may return. So this is an opportunity at the same time. It is an opportunity for us to turn this difficulty into some meaningful experience. عَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. Perhaps you dislike something, but it's good for you. We also believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most wise, and He's the most merciful, and He's the most kind. And therefore we also believe that in His very nature, He does for humankind and for believers what is best for them. Even more so, we have a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that says, عَجَبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ إِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلَّهُ خَيْرٌ. Amazing is the matter of the believer, for everything for him or her is good. وَلَيْسَ ذَاكَ لِأَحَدٍ إِلَّا لِلْمُؤْمِنِ. And this is not for anybody except for the believer. So for those that believe, for those that have a God-centric view on the world, it is an opportunity to what? Get the maghfirah and the afwa and to get the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we have this notion that when a difficulty comes to an individual, it's either takfir as-sayyi'at, it is either a cleansing of their sins, or raf'u darajat, or is an elevation of their status. For example, the anbiya, for the prophets and the awliya, and for the atqiya, for the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is an elevation of their status, because these people are always in istighfar, or they're sinless, or they've repented so often that they don't have any sins to account for. For them, it's an elevation of their status. And for those who have not made tawbah for many of their sins, that it's an opportunity of elevation and mercy and a cleansing. And so we can see this as an opportunity for us to be cleansed, even some of the difficulty that we go through. لا يزال العبد بالبلاء حتى يمشي على الأرض وما له من خطيئة. That a believer will continue to be tried until they walk the face of this earth and they don't have any more sins left. So what's happening? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing us closer. He is cleansing us. And if we have the patience with this, insha'Allah ta'ala, this is an opportunity and a means for us to get closer to Him and to shed our sins. And the other thing is لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. And it's an opportunity to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To return, tawbah, is an opportunity, is a ruju'. It's a returning from something that we may have done wrong. And therefore, it's an opportunity to turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to make istighfar, to make this a lesson, and to use this as an opportunity to potentially change the way that we might think of things, and to change the way that we might look at life, and to change the way that we might live, recognizing the reality that all of us, our days are numbered on this earth. So I wanted to help shed some light on that, to say, in summary, that even if humanity has caused this with their own hands, it's also an opportunity, and it's also an opportunity for us to gain the compassion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to get nearness to Him, and to be cleansed of our sins, and to be elevated. So it's both, potentially, it's a punishment if we don't do anything about it, if we don't take a lesson, if we don't use this to gain nearness to Him. But it's in fact a great blessing, right? That we might hate for something. It's a bitter pill, something we don't like, but in fact it has much good and khair for us. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all of us and make this easy make it a means of ease for all of us, and that we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for afiyah, that He doesn't try us, and that He grant us forgiveness even without the trial, but that if He gives it to us, that we have the patience and capacity to be able to endure it. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.